5 rescued from Abuja building collapse as police launch rapid response. NNPCL says no additional bodies found in Port Harcourt helicopter crash investigation. Katsina government shuts down private health facilities over safety fears. On the international scene, dozens injured in Tel Aviv as truck crashes into busy bus stop, say Israeli authorities. Very good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. My name is Sergio O'Brien. And on the news in details, 5 persons have been rescued from the site of a collapsed building in Abuja, the nation's capital. Police Public Relations Officer for the FCT Police Command, Josephine Ade, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday. Ade said the building situated in Vidas Estate within the Sabon Lugbe extension of the FCT caved in on Saturday. Earlier, eyewitnesses said no fewer than 40 persons were trapped in the ill-fated building. This is not the first time that the nation's capital would witness a case of a building collapse. Weeks back, a 2-story residential building collapsed in Abuja's Kubwa area. In that case, 4 people were rescued while an unconfirmed number of others were initially feared trapped. Meanwhile, no additional bodies have been found at the site of Thursday's crash involving the Sikorsky SK-76 helicopter in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. This is according to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. In its latest update on Sunday, the NNPCL spokesman Olufemi Shoneye said search and rescue operations by the relevant authorities at the site continues. Shoneye, NNPCL's Chief Corporate Communications Officer, said about 5 bodies are still missing. Earlier, the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau said additional diving equipment and resources will be deployed to aid in the continuation of rescue efforts. So far, 5 bodies have been recovered while 3 more persons remain unaccounted for. Also, the Katsina State government says it has completed the screening and revalidation process for all private health training institution to ensure public safety. Recently, the government shut down and revoked the license of all private health training institutions, saying they did not conform with the laid down rules governing their establishment in Katsina State. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi brings details in this report.
It all began when information got to the state government that some private health training institutions operate in public spaces and uncompleted buildings, especially within the Katsina metropolis. A few days after closing down the private health training institutions, a screening committee was constituted with a view to verifying and revalidating those that meet the requirements of the state government in line with global best practices. The proliferation of private health training institutions in Kano State has generated serious concerns and widespread lamentations from residents, which triggered government's swift response to safeguard public health. At one of the committees sitting with the proprietors of the private health training institutions in Katsina, officials said the exercise is aimed at ensuring that the institutions operate according to standards and within the ambit of the law.
We are going to bring out the list of authentic schools so that the parents should be, acquainted with the accredited school before they even enroll their girls.
Though concerned about the sudden closure of the institutions, proprietors said they were not worried by the exercise. They are assured of total compliance with the state government's directives.
The action taken by Kano State government is commendable, and we have no any problem with it. We have no any objection with the action taken, and we support the government 100%. And those schools that don't have the accreditation, we are advising them to go and secure the accreditation to enable them continue operating in the states.
People in the hospitals are treating in the way that they cannot be recovered in time, because due to unqualified students that are being qualified or graduated from such school that have no objection or have no accreditation from the recognized regulation bodies. So you see, this is a very big issue. So let everybody or the neighboring institutions we have to be law abiding, to have all the requirements needed for offering these courses or for doing this education.
Meanwhile, parents and public commentators are calling for a thorough investigation into the proliferation of private health training institutions, at least to save lives and safeguard public health. They also call on the government not to compromise standards. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Also, several persons have been reportedly killed in a clash between herders and farmers in Kukta, Waltandi district of Song local government area of Adamawa State. The incident, which occurred on Sunday morning, reportedly followed a conflict that had been going on for several days. The situation escalated when herders attacked multiple households, resulting in the death of 5 individuals. In response to the incident, authorities have deployed security forces to the affected area to restore normalcy and maintain law and order. The State Police Command has confirmed that security personnel have been sent to the area to apprehend those responsible for the violence. Meanwhile, Commissioner of Police Dankombo Morris has ordered the homicide section of the State CID in Yola to conduct a thorough investigation into the alleged clash between herders and farmers to identify the perpetrators and bring them to justice. Still on security, the Nigerian police force has paraded 47 suspected criminals, including alleged notorious kidnappers, around the Okeogun town of Oyo State. Trust TV's correspondent was at the parade exercise held at the Oyo State Police Headquarters, Ile Ibadan, and now reports.
The suspects were arrested on various offenses bordering on kidnapping, robbery, rape, hijacking, and other heinous acts. The Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer, Adewale Osifesho, said the 2 suspected robbers and kidnappers, who were fully armed, were caught on a herders' camp at Secretary, an area of Oyo State, dispossessing the herders of their valuables, adopting them while demand for a sum of 50 million naira for their release.
We have recovered 1 AK rifle, 1 locally made pistol, 1 cutter-sized locally made gun, expended cartridges, and of course, the sum of 2,769,000, 1 Mack trailer, vehicles, motorcycles, 1,130,000 pieces of cartons of adhesives amongst our recoveries. While
commending the efforts of Joint Security Force in the area, PPRO noted that the police has commenced evaluation of the security structure of the area for a possible improvement, calling on parents and guardians to warn their wards against social disorder and lawlessness.
The survivor further stated that the suspect and one other person that we are working with now then took turns in molesting and eventually raping her. And then she was released eventually from 48 hours. She was then released around 22:20. That's from 6:48. She was released around 11:20 p.m.
Is my girlfriend. Actually, when I see her, I ask her that where she is going. And he said her mother sent her. So we gotta go out. And she said after we reach my brother's house, we dey inside room. He said she need Nutri-Milk and I buy it for her. So we gathered there inside room that day.
I am a member of Black House. So after they just brought the hand for me. I don't know anything about it. So I now turned it to arches and I burned it. So that.
Appreciating efforts of the journalists for the due reportage, he said the suspects have been prepared for hearing at the law court for due judgment as soon as the police completes its investigation.
Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, has expressed displeasure with the clash between some police officers and personnel of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital. In a statement signed by the Police Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the IGP described the confrontation as unprofessional and directed the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 11, Oshogbo, to conduct a discreet investigation into the root cause of the incident. The IGP called for calm as the Nigeria Police Force under his leadership will continually work in collaboration with relevant sister security agencies to ensure a safe and secure environment for the nation. And still in security, gunmen have kidnapped the Archdeacon of Oyi Central Archdeaconry and Vicar of St. James Parish, Aukuzu Venerable David Ajefobi. Ajefobi was reportedly abducted on Saturday at the entrance gate of St. James Parish, Aukuzu, in Oyi local government area of Anambra State. So at the time of filing this report, no contact had been made by the abductors with the priest's relatives for ransom or reason for his abduction. When contacted for comment, the Anambra State Police Public Relations Officer SP Tochukwu Ikenga said the police had not received a report on the incident. Meanwhile, the church has begun a prayer session for the safe release of the victim. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says its operatives have intercepted some hard drugs concealed in soles of shoes and hair attachments heading to the United States and some parts of Europe. Announcing this in a statement on Sunday, NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi said the consignments were seized by the Anti-Narcotics Agency at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, MMIA, Ikeja, Lagos. The statement said a total of 2,118 pills of tramadol concealed in soles of 13 pairs of shoes going to Cyprus were seized at the export shed of the Lagos Airport on 12th October 2024. Adding that an additional 380 tablets were recovered from the home of the sender, Okenwa Kelvin Uchenna, during a follow-up operation in Enugu on Thursday, 24th October 2024. It added that a cash of 968,880 naira and a Toyota Avalon car marked UWN 389AS were also recovered from the suspect at the time of his arrest. In the same vein, a total of 26,250,000 pills of tramadol, as well as 580,400 bottles of codeine syrup, worth over 16 billion naira in street value, were intercepted by NDLEA operatives during 100% joint examination of watch-listed containers with men of customs service and other security agencies at the Tinkan port in Lagos and Port Harcourt Port, One, River State, between Tuesday 22nd and Wednesday 23rd October. In Edo State, NDLEA operatives recovered 640 kilograms of cannabis concealed in 80 jumbo bags of fresh vegetables at Ewu Junction, Irua Esan Central local government area, and arrested a suspect, Austin Oramen, 27, while another suspect, Aderiti Kazim, 35, was nabbed with 200 blocks of cannabis weighing 133 kilograms at Obalayan, Ile-Ife, Osun State on Thursday, 24th October. To other stories now. Recently, the Federal Ministry of Education implemented a policy restricting learners less than 18 from participating in external examination like WAEC, NECO, and also JAMB. In its latest move, the ministry has directed the teaching of basic skills like sewing, baking, and others will begin in January 2025 across the Federation. In Makurdi, the Benue State capital, school administrators have been reacting to the pronouncement by the Apex Education Regulator in Nigeria. Trust TV's Jimmy Adzandi brings details.
The skills acquisition programs, according to the Federal Ministry of Education, are targeted at learners at the basic levels, namely Basic 1 to 9 or Primary 1 to JSS 3. The school administrators admitted why it appears like a good policy, it may only be an illusion.
It should be all modalities set on ground. I mean, I went through these courses, I saw there are courses that involve both human resources and other resources involved. So if the resources are not put in place, I don't think that would be achievable.
And those days, those people, the divisional engineer will be a diploma holder. They constructed bridges in the local villages, and those bridges are still standing there up to today. But now we have engineers. They are constructing such bridges. They are collapsing. So what is happening? And the government is not realizing this. They will make a policy, but it will be a verbal one, no actual implementation. That is the problem.
If we are informed by the mother ministry in the state, that is the Ministry of Education, we will know what to do. But on a general note, I can see it's a very welcome development.
They argue that most times the plan of government does not take into account the fact that most schools are privately owned and are constitutionally in operations. They also underscore the importance of the skills acquisition program if properly introduced.
Yes, they are not encouraging the private sector. But I want to tell you, without the private sector in the education sector, education wouldn't have been anywhere in this country to write home about. Come to Benue State. How many government-owned institutions do we have?
It's a welcome development. I think going by the current situation in our country, where we don't have white-collar job for graduates and even school dropouts, I think if that is implemented and is done in a way it will help the children and even parents who the children are dependent on.
Technical schools are very, very important in every government. If you look at what is obtainable in advanced countries like UK, USA, France, and the rest, and even upcoming countries like Brazil, India, China, if you look at their technological literacy level, if you look at the people that are literate, like the advanced countries, they have from 25% to over 30%.
With countries like China making skills acquisition a basic component of education, it is expected that this proposal will be effective to dissuade the hitherto over dependence on paper qualification in Nigeria and encourage self-reliance and employment opportunities for Nigerians. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Educationists encourage extracurricular educational activities for improved learning. This and of course more stories when we return. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news update on Trust Television. A recap of our top stories again. 5 rescued from Abuja building collapse as police launch rapid response. NNPCL says no additional bodies found in Port Harcourt Helicopter Crash investigations. And to more stories now. Education of the child in today's world encompasses extracurricular activities and skills acquisition in addition to classroom learning. One of these extracurricular activities is the formation of school clubs, which assist in developing social skills. Trust TV's Jimmy Adzande spoke to some educationists in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, and filed this report.
According to some educationists, children, especially those from Basic 1 to 9 or Primary 1 to JSS 3, are better equipped with skills to cope outside the classroom when they participate in club activities.
I was a member of the press club also, and that helps me a lot in spoken English. Currently now I'm teaching English in this school that you are talking with me. So it is the responsibility of the government to make sure that things like that continue in our various schools, because it helps students to develop their potentials.
Many say debating societies help shape learning skills and address fear or stage fright in learners.
Helps a lot, and many students or people who are encouraged and they have the feeling to do it, they are actually they actually get something from it, and they perform very well, even in the higher institution. So it helps them a lot.
It is an acceptable development, and I accept to the fact that this should continue in our primary and secondary schools, because it's also a way of developing our learners. They also have this inbuilt confidence in them to also face the outer society there, aside normal classes they have as per schooling hours.
They agree that the education of the child should not be limited to the classroom.
Some of us when we were coming up, I was given to reading because I like reading, had flair for reading. So anything I read, newspapers, how do you call it, novels and all that. Then there were nothing like internet or Android phones and all that and the rest. So some of us discovered ourselves at that level. So I flew that area. So at that level of primary school is a foundational level by which you can expose them to a lot of them, some to reading, some to visual and all these things. They tend to find themselves in some of this area.
In Benue State, experts argue that most learners in the rural areas lack these activities that help shape their knowledge skills. They are calling on the school owners to do the needful by establishing clubs to ensure a holistic learning approach. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
And the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAVDAC, has inaugurated the breast milk substitute state multi-sectoral technical committees across 32 states. NAVDAC, in a statement signed and released by its resident media consultant, Shayo Akintola, on Sunday, said the inauguration of the committees is in line with the ongoing implementation of the National Strategy for the Implementation of the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes in Nigeria. The agency noted that the inauguration of the BMS state teams is also a reflection of the agency's renewed efforts to implement and enforce the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes and the National BMS regulation in Nigeria. In September, the Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition in Nigeria and the FHI 360 Alive and Thrive demanded the implementation of the National Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action for Food and Nutrition and the reinforcement of the Breast Milk Substitute Marketing Code in the country. According to them, the BMS Marketing Code aims to protect breastfeeding by regulating the marketing of breast milk substitute, which is vital to improving infant and young child feeding practices. Speaking at the virtual inauguration of the committee, the Director General of NAVDAC, Mojishola Adeyeye, charged the teams to lead the effort in their respective states to ensure full compliance with the provisions of the International Code of Marketing of Breast Milk Substitutes and the National BMS regulations. And to developments away from Nigeria, the Israeli Emergency Service and police say a truck rammed into a bus stop north of the commercial hub Tel Aviv on Sunday, injuring dozens of people. Police did not immediately say what caused the incident or whether it was an attack. At least 16 people were initially transported to nearby hospitals, the emergency service said in a letter in update, while the police confirmed multiple injuries. Officers and ambulances rushed to the scene where Israeli television channels showed police cordoning off the area as medics helped the injured. The incident comes as Israel marks the Hebrew calendar anniversary of the unprecedented Hamas attack on October 7 last year that sparked the ongoing wars in Gaza and Lebanon. And in sports, Super Falcons coach Justine Madugu has expressed satisfaction with the team's performance in the friendly against Algeria. Madugu's side defeated the Green Ladies 2-0 at the Remo Star Stadium in Kene on Saturday. Captain Rashidat Ajibade scored both goals for the 9-time African champions. The Gaffer said she was particularly impressed with the performance of the local-based players. The two teams will clash again in the second friendly at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon, Lagos on Tuesday. And with that, we wrap up the news update of this hour. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms. My name is Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching. Join us again.